Hello. Let me know where you can hear and see me so we can get started. Right, so we don't have any questions yet, and that's fine. So, how are you guys this morning? I can see one person watching, but I know that there are more than one in the chat, so we shall see. Okay, cool. Thank you, Gung Fu. How's that cat doing? Whatever his name was, I forgot. Hi, Rachel. I'm gonna speak to you later. Doing good. I'm glad. Okay. So, what's up? What's happening? Yeah, hit like, everyone. So today we're gonna try to go an hour. I don't know if Mr. Bot K is going live in an hour's time with Harry. Maybe. And they're gonna talk about some interesting stuff. Oh, cinnamon. Yes, cinnamon. That's the one. But what are you going to talk about on your live stream? And when is it? More importantly, when it is. If it is at 10 o'clock. Yes, okay. I assume that means yes, it's at 10 o'clock my time, which is in 57 minutes. Did I see the article about James Blunt who went carnivore to irritate his friends but got some stomach issues? I saw whatever was on Bart's channel that they were looking at him, and you did it wrong. So I'm not sure if there was anything specific there that you were kind of thinking about. I'm kind of not trying to pay attention to idiots just doing things half-assed and you don't even know what they're eating. So if someone says I'm gonna go carnivore and they eat hot dogs and burgers for a month or whatever and they get stomach issues, go figure. I wonder why. You can get stomach issues doing it right, obviously, but didn't he get scurvy as well? Which would be quite interesting. If you can get scurvy in 30 days by eating just meat, you probably had sort of scurvy before that, because 30 days to get scurvy from a very good vitamin C status is not going to happen. Right, so they're talking about carbohydrates. I'm gonna be there for a little bit if we're finishing here on time, but then I have another stream that I'm gonna have to be on at past. I won't be able to be there the whole time, but that would have been a very interesting topic to listen into. Yeah, exactly. He claimed to have gotten scurvy. Yeah. Yeah, that's more bot type of thing to. The thing is that I don't have patience for BS like that. I'm just like, oh, whatever. Can't be bothered. Let's have a look at some real shit. Whereas Bart finds some enjoyment in going through that and throwing a horse shit at them. It's not really my cup of tea. So I'm glad that we complement each other. Yeah, exactly, horse shit. Lies. Yeah. I think it's probably pretty much near impossible to get scurvy in 30 days if you're eating a meat-based diet and nothing else. So I can't see how that would happen. Yes. I did say 57 minutes a few minutes ago. Now it's actually 54. You're being late. So if I got things right, you're going to talk about what's going on, what our dear Paul Saladino is now saying about carbohydrates and honey. I think I've covered honey, or my opinion about what I think about honey before, and that hasn't really changed. If you want to do honey, please do honey. It's none of my business. If you want to call honey carnivore, I do not agree with you. If you want to eat 50 to 100 grams of honey, several times per day, you're not doing yourself any favors. Honey might be a food that has been found in nature for quite some time, but you wouldn't find a bee's nest, beehive, whatever it's called, every bloody day, so you can eat 50 to 100 grams of honey every day. That would never have happened. We are not built to do that. And then you can listen to the more mechanistic things probably and more details in 53 minutes over on Bart's channel. Yeah, exactly, Shell. 30 days. Yeah, no. Oh, 8 weeks. Oh no. It was more than 30 days. Either way, I see it as highly unlikely. I think, if that really did happen, what caused that? What had happened before that? What was his vitamin C status before that? Did he actually eat a good diet before that? Or was he then eating meat with burger buns and other carbs? Because carbohydrate metabolism requires much more vitamin C, etc. So I'm not buying it. Bug vomit, awesome. Yes, Ontipim says, I'm not Ontipim, I'm the pirate queen, do you not know this? This is a very, very good question, actually. Could eating honey on carnivore lead to scurvy? I think that is a real possibility. Unless you're eating a lot of liver, maybe, then you might be able to get enough of it. And I think, as clever as nature is, there is a reason for why there is a lot of vitamin C in, fruits and berries, etc. It's probably because we need them to digest them, to come together. So when you're eating honey, which is just sugar, you might become deficient in vitamin C. I don't exactly know what Mr. Saladino is doing right now with his diet, but if he's only eating honey and meat and nothing else, no supplements, no nothing, it'll be interesting to see what is happening with that and if he is prone to some sort of vitamin C deficiency. Maybe he's eating a lot of liver, maybe we'll be able to actually avoid that. But yeah, it's obviously hypothetical, but I think there's a real risk of that. Good point. Yeah, exactly. It's just sugar, not a health food. I've heard of people saying that they've been able to cure their allergies with honey. For me, clearly, honey is not a safe food. Honey is not a safe food for a sugar addict. It doesn't work. I can start out with having like a teaspoon or something every day for a few days, and eventually I'm just going to end up eating the whole jar because one spoon is going to lead to two, which is going to lead to three, and then all of a sudden it's gone. So for me, it wouldn't work anyway. And I don't know if it works. It sounds like for some people it works, for others it doesn't. Okay. Yes, Lukey is here. Hit like. To err is human, to R is pirate. Okay. So I also said that I had an announcement. So this has come a little bit sooner than I was going to, but I'm going to tell you now that it's been a little bit quiet on my channel. I've missed a couple of weeks putting out interviews, and that's been because a lot of things have been going on in real life. I've really properly run out of time. So 2 things are happening. The first thing is that I've quit my job, so I'm going to have more time to do this. I didn't enjoy it. As you know, it's been very stressful since the restructure when they had to get rid of 50% of the staff. I didn't enjoy my job. I didn't enjoy my manager. And after having a very stressful week, they have decided to pay me out. So now I am having another 25 days or so actually paid and not working. So I'm quite happy about that. That is a major win for me, which means I'm going to have more time to spend on this. But also, I am working with my own coach and developing a different program, which will not really be applicable to you guys, but I'm going to let you know anyway in case you know someone who might be interested. So what I'm going to do is probably going to offer my services to type 2 diabetics and help them reverse the diabetes, basically. I'm still working on the whole concept with what that is going to involve, etc. And I will let you know when I got there. So that is what is happening here. So yeah, shh, don't tell them yet. I'm not going to tell about all the details just yet. So yeah, no Bart juniors. We don't do that here. We just do fun things. No kids, thank you. So yeah, that's what's going on. So hopefully from now on, I will be able to keep up with the interviews. As you know, I love doing the interviews. It's a lot of fun actually doing the interviews, but it's a lot of work to find people to interview and find people who A, want to be interviewed, and B, turning up for the interviews. You usually notice that pretty quickly when you speak to someone if they're going to turn up or not. I've been stood up a few times, and you can always tell who those people are, and you notice it straight away. But just to get people to actually say yes to doing that is kind of a little bit of a pain in the butt. But I imagine that as my channel is growing and getting more views, getting more followers, obviously it's going to be more attractive for people to come on this channel and be interviewed by me. So hopefully it's going to be less of a problem to get people to say yes, but I don't know. And again, if you have suggestions, if you have names of people that you want to see on this channel or specific topics, then please let me know. There's some topics that I really would want to cover, and one of them is with regards to supplements. I would really like to find someone who's really good at supplements and what goes into supplements and how that might not be ideal for our bodies, for example. I haven't been able to pin someone down. I've asked a couple of people, but I haven't even got a reply for that. So any topic is obviously of interest. Just let me know, and I'll see if I can make it happen. And even better, give me names. If I have names and know where to contact them, it's easy for me to get into that. So with all of that said, there are only about 20 of you or so here right now, but up until I'm finishing launching this new thing that I'm going to have, I will keep doing what I'm doing now. I'll keep having the consultations available on Patreon. I'm not going to move that anywhere else necessarily. And I just want to say that if you are thinking about having consultations with me, I would encourage you to do it this year, because I'm very unlikely to keep that up next year, especially for that price. So I'm just saying that if you have been thinking about it, then you might want to act sooner rather than later, because later on I'm having other ideas for how I want to spend my time and how I want to help people doing that. Not saying that it won't be available ever, but it's probably going to be more expensive as well, if everything goes according to plan anyway, because there are, as you know, working on YouTube it's very labor intensive. Doing all of this takes a lot of time. Obviously, live stream, I can just show up, but putting any other material together takes a lot of time, which you don't see. So I'm just putting that out there. So think about that whenever you're on a channel and someone putting out a lot of content. There is a reason for why a lot of YouTubers get burnt out. And I know that You Did It Wrong was talking to me, and she was asking if I would be willing to make some commentary for one of her videos. And I know that she's feeling it as well, that, I'm putting in a lot of effort here. It's kind of getting to you. So whenever you have someone who can be consistent and keep it up, you show your support and help them in whatever way you can, because it does help a lot when you feel like you're getting that support from your followers. It's not just showing up or pressing record on a camera and then you're done. There is a lot of thought and preparation going into every single video for most YouTubers, so just keep that in mind. Right, so let's see what you have to say. Yes, it's the local pollen in raw honey that works on allergies, has nothing to do with the sugar. Yeah, absolutely. But I'm not sure it works for me. Shell said, "You quit. Whoa, you go, girl." Yeah, it is. It's a risk, obviously, because where we live, for me to get another job that is that well paid, is pretty much going to be impossible now. So I need to get this to work, so I don't have to get a job. Does that mean I will have to skip my classes to watch the extra content? No, it does not, Loki. I'm not going to put a lot of content out, but I'm going to try to be. I have been consistent up until 2 weeks ago, I suppose, but I'm definitely going to make that more of a priority to make that happen. As things were unfolding now, there was literally no time, no energy to make that happen. I said I'm going to have Belinda Fetke on at some point. She said to contact her again early September. So if you have specific questions for her, I would be really grateful if you could go to the community tab and leave a comment there. I've asked the question there, but I don't think anyone's actually left me a comment there. I think she's brilliant, and she has, she's done so much research that it would be really interesting to see what she says. That is not my area of expertise, so I'm kind of relying on you guys to have some good questions almost, because I'm probably better at asking questions with regards to mechanisms and nutrition rather than the history behind why we're in this deep shit that we are. So if you do have any thoughts or questions around that, please leave a comment so that I can actually ask her that and get the most out of her. It's like with Harry, I really enjoy listening to what they have to say, but I don't really know a lot about the topics beforehand when we're talking about Harry the historian. And as I said, Harry's going to come on. Unfortunately, things didn't quite work out this week as planned, but I'm talking to him this week sometime. I can't even remember when. It's booked in anyway, so we're not going to miss it this time. Exactly. One door shuts, another one opens. He's shouting. I'm not sure what. What did you say? I don't know. Okay. Wednesday, he says. Okay, I booked it for Wednesday. See, my brain is still not working. It's just like chaos. So I need to repair the holes that I got there from all the stress, I think. So, fuck, can you imagine a junior bot, the horror? Oh, for goodness sake, I'll throw that little shit out the window. It will be awful. There he is. Hello, Harry. Wednesday. Yeah, one bot is enough. One bot in the world is enough. We don't want several of those. That would be bloody awful, wouldn't it? And imagine if they teamed up and if they weren't of the same opinion. Funny. Maybe we should. Yeah, I was thinking about Fart K, but he doesn't have the balls. Shame you're not streaming today. Good luck with your duty. Are you not streaming at all, Harry? Or are you just guesting on Bart's stream? I guess that maybe will be good enough. Going Fu says, very interesting about supplements, Pim. I would be very interested. By the way, did you see that documentary about supplements? I have seen documentaries about supplements, but I'm not sure which one you're talking about. So if you give me a name, Going Fu, I will have a look. My problem is that even if you give me the name, I'm going to have to Google it because me and titles, we don't match. I'm one of these people who has a lot of knowledge about very few things. most of the things in the world I have no clue about, and I'm totally clueless, and I'm quite happy to be clueless about them. People might think I'm stupid for not having a clue, and that's fine. I'm just interested in what I'm interested in, and the rest, I'm like, meh. So titles, video titles, movie titles, doesn't matter. What happened in the movie? What was the message? That is what is interesting to me. So yeah, I would be very interested as well, but I don't really know who to ask. I found a couple of people. I was doing a lot of research, found a couple of people I thought I could ask these people, and I didn't have a reply from them. So, but that would be an interesting topic for sure. Yes, it's a consultation issue. This is correct. Big things ahead for Pim. Let's hope so. I'm quite excited. I think it's a really what I want to do is reach people who haven't found low carb yet and help them reverse their diabetes. I say it's easy to do with a low carb diet, but not for everyone. Not everyone who goes on a low carb diet can just instantly reverse their diabetes. But yeah, my goal is to kind of start reaching people who are not in this sort of community, to find those people that are open to it but haven't really found it because they don't even know where to look. So that would be cool, I think. Here we go. The documentary is called Subs, the movie. It was an interesting watch, but they did not really answer the most critical questions. I think I need to rewatch it. Okay. Is that on Netflix or where? I'll write it down anyway. Subs, the movie. Thank you. Okay. Right, so let's see. Luke says, I probably won't be reappearing on camera today, folks. Still haven't had dinner unless Pim wants my assistant reading comments in the last half. No, that's all right, Lukey. We're not going to be going on here forever anyway. And we were talking about maybe have a topic, and Lukey has come up with something. So we kind of probably want to discuss that a little bit off camera before we come on and then decide when that's going to happen. But Lukey will be back, and I'm looking forward to that. He's very wise and well read for his young age, so I think we all kind of enjoy him and his knowledge. And he has a lot of knowledge that I don't have, so it would be a very good compliment, I think. Harry says, social media content and a 9-to-5 job and domestic. Oh, poor Harry. I know exactly what that bullshit's like. Circadian rhythms. Okay. That's are we talking, I mean, there's so many things with circadian rhythms that it could be, so it could be circadian rhythm, how that affects your metabolism, which is tied to your hormones. Is it health that we're interested in, or I don't know. There's so many things about circadian rhythm, but yeah, I agree. That would be very, very interesting. So I'm gonna just write that down. But it could obviously be focused on like how the circadian rhythm affects your sleep, how it affects your weight, how it affects your appetite, how it affects your mood, etc. So if there is any specific aspect that you're looking for, just let me know and I will write that down as well. Otherwise, I'll just see what I can find, if I can find someone who's big on that, because that is it's a very, very interesting topic, and I think it's very broad, and it's not, I wouldn't say it's not well researched, but it does need more research and how to apply that in real life. I think as a society, I think a lot of the time we're kind of ignoring the fact or the impact that the circadian rhythm has on ourselves as an organism. And I think that's probably not a very good idea to do that. It's probably a lot more important than we think, like a lot more. Just the fact that if you have a meal that consists of certain things and you eat it in the morning, you have a totally different hormonal response than if you're eating it in the evening. And from a metabolic standpoint and health standpoint and insulin control, etc., everything is pointing to that you're doing better eating earlier in the day. So okay. Let's see. So repeat. Here we go. What do you think of Ray Peat's work? I haven't read exactly what it's about. I just know that it involves carbohydrates. As such, I just want to say that I don't think so. If you have a metabolically healthy person who has never been subjected to a lot of processed foods, etc., from birth, they've just been eating real food and they have eaten carbohydrates, I think they will be fine. Is that the ideal diet? Probably not. Okay, so I think you can be perfectly healthy eating some natural carbohydrates. And now we can get into the discussion about what's natural and what's not natural, because the fruits that we have right now, they're not as natural as they should be. They have been not genetically modified, but they have been, what do you call it? See, my brain is not working today. They have been selectively cultivated to have the sweetest and the biggest fruits so that we get the most out of them. They're most palatable when they're sweet, obviously. So they're not necessarily natural the way that nature created them. We have turned them into something that they never used to be. If you are functioning well, if your metabolism is fine, if you have never had any hormonal problems, you can probably get away with it. But I don't think it's necessary. I absolutely don't think it's necessary. I don't think that it's ideal. I'm eating some carbs. Why am I doing that? Because I didn't feel good not doing it. And I enjoy it. And I don't seem to feel worse doing it. Is it ideal? Maybe not. Do I care? No. So it's up to you. All I'm for is that everyone finds the diet that works for them. But if you come and ask me, should I eat a gallon of rice because I'm going to the gym? You're going to get a no from me. If you still want to do it, and you want to justify it because you're going to the gym and you think that you're getting more pump in your muscles or whatever it might be, do it. But just be aware of the consequences that might come with that. Maybe that will not be ideal for your body. Maybe you will carry a lot more body fat than you would want to carry. Maybe if you have an underlying hormonal issue, maybe that will spur on your insulin resistance or prevent you from reversing it. So there are so many, aspects to why would you, why wouldn't you? But is it ideal? No, it's not ideal. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I have, where is she? Oh, you know her, Fluffy. She is the most annoying dog I've ever had. I say I've only had 2 dogs myself. I've grown up with dogs, however, and no one has ever behaved like she does. She can walk around all night, back and forth on the wooden floor with her little claws and just keep me awake. and she can walk around. She can squeak because she wants to come up on the bed where she isn't allowed because it's cold or whatever, and she's just doing my head in. When she was a puppy, for the first 3-4 months, she was 10 times as annoying, and I was kind of questioning myself whether I had made the wrong decision to get that dog at all. I thought, I'm gonna get another Snoozy because Amy is very, very easy to deal with. She's just happy to be wherever I am. She will sleep through the night. She's just perfect inside. Whereas this little shit is the opposite. So did I want to get rid of her? Oh, yes. Would I get her again if I had if I knew what I would have to go through? No, I wouldn't. I love her. I wouldn't get rid of her now, but I wouldn't put myself through that again. And having a kid is probably a lot worse. So I'm staying away from that. Just saying. And he's laughing in there, of course. So let's see. Okay. Mike Mutzel. I like his YouTube channel. Is he good at supplements? Didn't know that. But I have a look. Just writing it down. If you're wondering why I'm quiet and looking like I don't know what I'm doing. Metabolic Mike. Is that his another stage name or? Yeah, exactly. High Intensity Health. That's his YouTube channel, which I like. Luke says, thanks for your appreciation, Pim. Yes, my good memory and widespread interest of several topics has come in handy. Absolutely. I think we're quite similar there. It's just that obviously we're coming from different perspectives, and Luke has a totally different goal in mind. He's obviously liking his dairy, which I'm not doing well with, so I'm not gonna go in and do a ton of research on dairy because it hasn't ever kind of interested me personally, because I know I'm not doing well with it, so why would I? Whereas Luke will look into those kind of things because he's doing well with it and it's benefiting him, so it's cool. Okay. Hello, Pim. Did I hear you once say that if one can only acquire grain-fed meat, that the omega-3, omega-6 ratio can be balanced out by just adding grass-fed ghee or butter to it? Yes, you might absolutely have heard me say that. Get lean grain-fed meat, though, so that you're not getting the fatty pieces of meat of the grain-fed meat and then adding fat on top of that, because then it's going to be harder to get the right ratio. But if you get lean meat, you will have some fat in there, but big deal, it's just a little bit. And then you're adding the grass-fed fat on top of that, and you'll probably be fine. Obviously, if you can eat some fish, wild caught, absolutely wild caught, because the farmed fish doesn't have a good, if you compare those fatty acid profiles, it's still not going to be great. So you want to kind of, if you eat fish and you can get your hands on wild caught fish, it's a really good supplement as well for getting the ratios better. You get me, Pim, reading my mind. I'm not sure what I did, but the chat is 8 minutes after what I said, so whatever I said, I'm glad I got you. Pim, what to do about someone that thinks it's totally fine to have meals late at night, for example, dinner at 10 p.m. voluntarily so? Who's this, Luke? Is that your dad or something? What to do? Are they willing to watch YouTube videos or other recordings, or read studies, for example? Because there are studies done, and I wonder if this was, even if it was Mike Mosley doing this with the experiment with eating the same amount of calories, like the same meal in the morning and in the evening, to see how the insulin response was, etc. And he was just shocked to see the big difference. So there are those kind of popular programs as well that apply, or that kind of attracts the general public more that you could find. I'm not sure what that would be called. And if I'm writing that down, I'll see if I can find that. I think it was him anyway. Can't remember. I wonder if they showed it on BBC. So I call it circadian eating. But if you wanna, you can always, Google that yourself and see if you can find it. Okay. Ha! Shell says, I'm guilty of eating late. I paid the price. Acid reflux, can't sleep well. Shell, I know someone else who does that. Not mentioning any names. And it's not me. I don't really get acid reflux. Luke says, good luck convincing me that anything above 50 grams per day of carbs is remotely natural for humans in the natural state of hunter-gathering. Most of the time, it was close to zero. Yeah. Yeah, the only time that would have happened was after agriculture came into our lives. And yeah, we know what we think about agriculture. It's probably saved a lot of lives, but it's like, it feels wrong to say this, but it's like you have an amount of quality life to hand out, and when you dilute it to more people, a lot of people are going to live, but they're not going to have the same quality of life as they would have if just a few would have lived. And nowadays, we don't actually have to do that. Sure, if everyone went carnivore tomorrow, we'll probably have a bit of a problem supplying the meat to people initially. But we will probably catch up fairly soon if we change our way of living and how we do farming, etc. Because let's just face it, I could probably live off one cow a year, and someone who eats more, maybe 2 or 3 cows per year. And we could probably sustain that on this planet. Now, not everyone will just eat cows, but you can have a few chickens in your garden or whatever you want to do. I prefer the cows or the sheep, but yeah, it's a very cheap way of doing it. But with the when the government gets involved and they subsidize grains, etc., it's going to be even cheaper and it's going to be harder to move away from. So it would be great if the governments would subsidize sustainable farming of animals, for example. Wouldn't that be perfect? That would be pretty cool. All right, Shell has farm stuff to do. Good girl. I will see you later. Cows and pigs and chickens aren't natural either. We bred them just like fruit. Yes, this is very true. However, having said that, sure, they're not natural animals, and I'm all for, eating deer and whatever you want to do, any game that you can find. I don't think that the problem with pickens, pickens and chigs and pickens would be that the main problem I have with that is the diet and what they are being fed. That actually makes their diet, it just messes the whole animal up, and what they contain. They might have toxins stored in the fats, etc., which isn't good for us. But if you find a wild boar, would you say that that is not, I think that would be perfect. A raised pig can still be good, but it depends on what it's eating. And we usually farm those things and we make them more muscular to get more meat out of them. And what they do to do that is not necessarily a good thing. But if you, on the other hand, would pick the animals that have more muscle naturally without giving them a lot of stuff to develop those muscles, that is not going to change the rest of the setup of the animal, if you like. I don't know how to describe it, but they're still going to be the same animal. They're not going to have necessarily have a different fatty acid profile because all of that depends on what they're actually eating. Whereas fruits, for example, wild apples, have you ever eaten those? They're terrible. You could probably, people used to put them in stews, etc., and then they will go sweeter because you're kind of cooking them and breaking down the starches, which is fine because I don't think you would get a lot of carbohydrates from them. Whereas now you're eating an apple and you're just getting the amount of carbs that you will get in 20 wild apples just by eating one apple. Whereas in a bred cow, if the cow has had a natural diet, mainly grass, it's just more meat on the bone. It's not necessarily a worse fatty acid profile, etc. So I think we need to think a little bit about how has the selective breeding affected the meat that we're eating. Does it make it worse health-wise or not? Dr. Berg knows a lot about supplements. Fair enough. I'm not sure he would even come on my channel, to be fair, but I'm not sure that we want to know what he thinks about supplements. And I don't want to know about these supplements. I want to know about the fillers and the other things that they put in supplements and what can happen. I am also interested in supplements, how they can interact with each other, etc. But that's a totally different issue, and I don't even think Dr. Berg would be the right person to ask. Luke says, meat is meat, whether domesticated or not. We do need to worry about unnatural feed for those animals and living conditions, but that's about it. Humans ate mostly mammals anyway with ruminant bias. Should someone overweight be talking about healthy diets? I think we were talking about this last week. Yes, I do need to oil my chair. I know, it's really bloody annoying. Anyway, back to that. I think I told you about when I was studying nutrition and we had this lady from Livsmedelsverket, which is like the nutritional body in Sweden that they decided the guidelines, etc. And in Sweden, most people are, I would say, sort of normal weight. The normal weight is probably creeping up like in other countries, because when I go back to Sweden now, we have more fat people than I have ever seen there before, but it's kind of not super common to see a lot of fat people walking around. You will see them, but most people will still be normal weight. But this woman, she was definitely obese, like proper obese, the fat waggy type of style, because she's so fat she can't walk straight. She has to walk like that. And how on earth would you listen to someone like that, even if they come from the Livsmedelsverket and is there to tell you about the guidelines, how they came into place and how you should be eating, and the only thing I was sitting thinking about was, is this woman following the guidelines? If she does, that's probably not a good thing. Then I probably don't want to follow them. Obviously, I wasn't going to be that rude that I was going to ask her if she was eating that way herself. But my brain, and I am sure all my classmates' brains were thinking the same thing, is she following the guidelines? We want to know if she's doing that, because if she actually is, then something's pretty bloody wrong. Right. Berries before winter. Yep. And nuts. Lukey says, I feel like people like this friend of mine who eat late at night have created a weird ritual of eating. Sometimes fast food at night, a pleasure hit, then wonder why they're getting overweight and sick. Yeah, so that's just a habit. Ask them if they would be willing to eat 3 hours earlier. just doing that might make a difference. Obviously, if it's mainly fast food, it's probably still gonna be a bit fat, but it's gonna give the body some chance of actually, um, dealing with it in a better way than when you go to sleep. Because when you go to sleep, your body just shuts that shit off, and is there to repair stuff. But if it has to deal with the digestion, you're gonna mess things up. Lucas says it's possible to sustain billions of people on ketogenic, heavily animal-based diet, but it seems so crazy because we're stuck with traditional paradigms in mind. Yeah, absolutely. I would like to talk to someone who actually knows their numbers and know things about that. That would be interesting as well. Wow, chat is jumping. Scott Ryan says to Luki, I was watching a show called Life Below Zero, and there's a family on there who are some sort of native Eskimo type deal, I think. They tend to eat the seasons as it were berries and meat. Yeah. And you know what? For most people, I think that's fine. If, as I said, when there are figs on the trees outside and I go walk in the park, I'm gonna eat those figs and I don't care. They're just there. They taste nice. I'm gonna do it. But in winter or whenever the figs are not available, I don't think I ever go and buy figs in the store. And I don't see a reason why I should. I buy some fruit sometimes in the store, and I do still buy blueberries, frozen blueberries, because I like them. Should I be doing that? Probably not ideal, no, but I'm doing it. So I just think, if you want to live really, really clean and do whatever you were designed to do, your body was designed to do, then you want to really use the circadian rhythm. You want to go to bed when it's getting dark, when it's getting so dark that you can't see without artificial light. It's probably time for you to go to sleep. And then you're getting up, whenever you're waking up, when the sun goes up, and you go outside, you get yourself exposed to that sunlight, whether that be the best scenario would be to get plenty of sunlight on your skin. You want to get it straight into your eyes. You want to wake up. You want to eat the foods that are available for that season wherever you are. Now, I say wherever you are, ideally, so for someone like me, I'm half Scandinavian. My genes might be doing better with a different diet than someone who is, my other half genes are from South America. So there's probably a mishmash for me there. Those genes probably aren't compatible in terms of the ideal diet. Do I know which one's ideal for me? No. What I can tell though is that I'm doing a lot better with a low carb diet, and I think everyone will do that. So I think trying to live a life where you're following the circadian rhythm and where you're following the nature and the different seasons, I think that's probably ideal. Having said that, if you have autoimmune diseases, if you have, totally effed yourself up metabolically by eating very strange foods for a prolonged period of time, for many years, and pretty much destroyed your metabolism, then maybe you can't even do that. Maybe you have to stay off of that for at least a period of time. Is it okay to ask nasty questions, or should I wait for Bart's stream? Yeah, I don't know, Gung Fu. What sort of nasty questions are you thinking about today? Curiously, even in the tropics, one may find that diets are easily 80% animal foods, despite there being 2 seasons of fruit and some tubers. Yeah. Maybe next stream. Okay. Chip and Agnes Hailstone and family are the Life Below Zero folks. I don't know what that is. Do I have to put that on my list? So what is Life Below Zero? Ha! I'm gonna look it up. See, I'm telling you, I don't know shit about most things. That being one. I would think most people would opt for meat over veg, etc. If the option was available. I would think they would only eat more veg fruit if meat wasn't available or in limited supply. I think you're probably correct but I'm also thinking, for me personally, maybe it's a learned behavior. I don't mind eating a lot of meat, but I can eat more meat if I get a little bit of variation in there. So whether that be I'm eating, let's say, a piece of steak and a burger and bacon and halloumi cheese, I can eat a lot of protein in one sitting. If I only have steak, it's really hard for me to eat more. So I think it's probably a genetic thing that we just pre-programmed to look for a little bit of variety as well to kind of help us get more stuff in. So I don't think it needs to be one or the other. I think we would probably have eaten the meat, and if there was some berries, go for it. Why not? And depending on how many, it's probably a bit of an insulin response. It helps us store the fat. Perfect for winter. So it's all good. Oh, reality TV series. I really don't like TV in general, but reality TV series, nah. Scott Ryan says that's the family. Very interesting lifestyle they lead, and all look very healthy. Okay. Lucas says a small flank steak burgers getting ready. That sounds good. Right. Lukey, I actually have always eaten a variety of animals since I was a kid. I just wish I had more seafood available. Still not used to mussels and other bivalves. Ooh, I couldn't eat those. Not my cup of tea. So there has been a lack of questions today. What's up, people? Why are you not asking questions? And we actually have 7 minutes to go and we're pretty much finished. I know there's a delay on the chat, but if you have more questions, just put them in now, get it over with, and we can actually finish on time, which would be super cool. And I will have 30 minutes to sneak into Bart's stream and see what they're going to say about the carbohydrates. I have a feeling I know pretty much what tone of voice they're going to use, shall we say. Now, is this the sort of questions that we should hand over to Bart's stream, or, maybe you should hop over there right away? Thank you, Patricia. Me. Most of you come from Bart anyway. Lukey, Pim, is it possible for sunbathing to cause vitamin imbalances somehow? I don't think so. I can't see how that would be possible. The thing with the sun is that you will get the vitamin D that you need. And if you're exposed to a lot of sun, you will get darker skin, which will protect you from the sun, which will mean that you won't be able to produce as much vitamin D anymore. Your body is pretty good at, saying, no, we got enough vitamin D, I don't need that much, but we can store vitamin D as well. So that's the only vitamin I can think about that the sun would affect. So, nah. I don't even think that you thought so, Lukey. What causes leg cramps, etc., on a carnivore diet? Mineral imbalances, probably. So you might want to look at things like, I would start with magnesium, but it could also be an imbalance between potassium and sodium. Do you have this yourself, Scott? Or is it someone else? So if it's someone who's new to a carnivore diet, I would probably tell them to pretty much up all their minerals, which is both magnesium, sodium, potassium, everything. because you're getting rid of a lot of them. If you have been doing this for quite some time, I would probably look at magnesium in the first instance, and if that doesn't help, I would move on to the others. Right, 4 minutes to go, no more questions. And by the way, rude personal questions won't be answered. You can fuck over to Bart's stream if you want to do that. So, questions. Otherwise, we're going to finish up, and we have 3 minutes to go, so that's about it. Meanwhile, while I'm waiting for more questions, I will just say that, as usual, it's brilliant to have you all here. And as I said earlier, you can expect me to start putting out my videos for you Tuesday again. I'm going to resume that. I was meant to do this week, but it didn't happen. So it will happen next week. And I have an interview lined up, but I'm not going to share what that is going to be about just yet. I want it to be a surprise. And also, even if you can't think about someone right now, if you have someone in mind or an interesting topic, for example, let me know what you want to see on this channel, and I'll try to find someone that I can interview about that. I will absolutely look into. I didn't even write them. I know it was supplements. I'm not sure what Mike Mutzel and supplements have in common, but I will have a look at that. I'd really like him, so that would be super cool if he would want to come on here. Who knows? Rachel, thank you. I'm going to speak to you soon, but before that, me and Patricia are going to do a thing in the 30-day no sugar challenge. So that would be super cool. For once, I'm going to sit there and I'm going to be educated. I'm looking forward to that. So Scott Ryan says, yes, I do get it regularly. I haven't done for years. I take magnesium tabs and use a product called Light Salt, which has sodium and potassium in it, and still get aching legs regularly. Okay. Have you tried something like a magnesium spray with like magnesium sulfate or something that you just spray on your legs so that you get it very locally in that area? Could also be something I find, if you get that when you're trying to sleep, what I would do is just try to stretch out your calves before you go to bed and see if that helps. I found that is actually helping me quite a lot. Light salt has sodium and potassium in it. I'm wondering if you're only using that, you might not get enough sodium. I'm sorry to say, because people are scared of sodium, but your kidneys are really good at filtering out excess sodium. So we don't have to be as scared of it as many people think that we should be. And I'm a little bit skeptic to this huge ratio between sodium and potassium, and that we used to eat this much potassium, etc. I'm not convinced that actually matters as much as some people think. So I would try to maybe get like a spray and try that straight on your calves and do some stretching before you go to bed, if that's when you're getting it. If that doesn't work, try to just up your sodium for a bit and see how that works out, because that might be the problem. Okay. Luke says, for tackling autoimmunity, is a higher fat carnivore regimen recommended? I'd like to know if I need to drop my bodybuilding for a while. Not necessarily. Why? Are you not feeling optimal, Lukey? I can't see. I mean, the meat wouldn't. You shouldn't react to meat, and if you do, you need to change the meat source, literally. If you feel like you don't have enough energy and you're feeling better eating more fat, then by all means do so. I would rather, I mean, I don't know what your fat ratio is, to be honest, but I would rather start cutting out other things like beans, for example. Probably not the ideal autoimmune food if you can do that. It's probably one of those that would react with a lot of people. Thanks, Gung Fu. I appreciate that. That makes my life easier. I like when you're sending me links straight away so I can just hop in there and have a look. Scott Ryan, I haven't. No, I haven't. We'll have a look at it. I will also give the calf stretching. I do also use regular salt as well as the light salt. Okay. Some people talk about you need about 10 grams of salt. So it might be that you're not getting enough anyway. Just want to put it out there as an option. It might be. Especially if you're exercising a lot, then you're probably sweating a lot and you probably need more. I think it was it Volek and Finney or just one of them? I can't remember. A study they did when people were kind of getting onto a ketogenic diet, mind you, so they would lose more sodium than you probably would by now. But when they asked people to eat salt to taste and not be scared of adding extra salt, they were still very, very salt deficient. So sometimes you might have to think about actually adding some more on purpose. So play around with that a little bit because it's really hard for me to say what the problem is. The best way of finding out is trial and error, but just know where to start. Miss Pagan, I started getting muscle cramps bad eating plant oils again. All right. Interesting. So muscle cramps from plant oils. That's a new one on me. Just don't do it. Anyway, we have actually gone over time now. I thought we were going to finish on time or earlier. So 3 minutes passed. We're pretty much finished. I've already said what I wanted to say and what's going to happen. And Gung Fu, if you want to send that to me, that is great. I will look into it. Maybe something for me to watch tonight. We'll see if he agrees or if he wants to watch Netflix as usual. Yeah, so thank you so much for being here. It's always a big pleasure to have you here. I appreciate every single one of you. I appreciate that you all, interact and talk to me, talk to each other, and helping each other out in the chat as well, and not just asking me questions. Today was unusually quiet on the question front, but that's fine. So yeah, I don't have words for it, but it just feels like a really nice, good thing that everyone kind of comes together and helping each other out. And I'm hoping that that spirit will kind of live on, because that's why we're here. We all have a common goal, and that is to improve our own health and well-being. So please keep sharing whatever you know with everyone else and with me. Keep asking, etc. It's all good. So thank you so much. Let's see, there was something else coming in. I am exercising, weight training, and I do pee a fair bit, so I guess I need to add more salt to help. Yeah, you might want to start there actually if you're already taking magnesium. Now, when you say that you do that, I don't drink a lot and I eat a lot of salt. But if you eat a normal amount of salt and you drink a lot, so you pee a lot, you're going to lose more sodium, even if your kidneys are trying to retain it. So start with that. Come back next week. Let me know if anything has changed, because I'm really, really interested to hear if that alone would help you. So thank you so much. Well, you take care of yourselves, and I will see you again for my pre-recorded one during the premiere, and then again next week. Thank you, Gung Fu. Thank you, Scott. And Miss Pagan sucks at making here on time, and she really needs to kick my ass back in the right direction. Okay, Miss Pagan, next Saturday for you, be here 1 hour earlier than this, minus 6 minutes, and we can have some fun. So take care and see you then. Bye. Oh, and here we go. Sorry, I said bye and clicked end broadcast, and then I saw a super chat. Andrew 101, I haven't seen you doing the chat, but thank you so much for your super chat. I appreciate that. Just wanted to tell you that I do appreciate that. Thank you so much. and Miss Pagan. See ya.